You asked me to figure out where this video was recorded, so I did. Hi, I'm josemonkey, and I find people who ask to be found. Guys, this video has been on my list for a very long time. I tried to find it once before and got stuck, and I finally circled back to it this week. I was determined to either find this location or put it on the failure list. So what can we see? Before I go any further, I should point out that this person submitted this video before I made the rule about asking to be found on camera, so that's why you don't see them do that in this video. Okay, the video shows a scene at a gas station. We can see this convenience store here, and we can also see some of the nearby businesses. The signs indicate that this is a Texaco station. One of the first things I noticed is that we have a cage here that holds propane tanks. The signage tells us that this is a Mighty Flame propane exchange location. I'll come back to that. I had hoped I might see something in this storefront here that would help me. I was really hoping for a number that might be a partial address, but I didn't really see anything useful. By the way, this person has something hanging from their rearview mirror in their car, and it's like a face. And every time I scrolled past it when I was looking at the video and the face would come on screen, it was like a jump scare every single time. Whoa! So silly. Okay, so I tried to look at the buildings across the street to see if there was anything useful there. And all I could really see is that on the one building, it says Complete Auto something. And then it says Certified Master Technicians. So I figured it had to be some kind of auto shop. There's also a sign here, which I suspected was the name of the business, but I was having a lot of trouble reading it. It looked like it started with a red letter T, and after that maybe we have the letters I, L, but I really was not confident about that at all. I was having trouble making out any of the license plates on the cars here, but the car that the person is seated in has a windshield sticker that was issued by the state of Texas. So I figured Texas was a good place to start. There are over 1,400 Texaco locations in the United States, and like 500 of them are in Texas. I was hoping that maybe the Mighty Flame propane exchange would help me find this place. By the way, if you notice that there's an address printed on this sign here, I will save you some time and tell you that that is the address for the Mighty Flame main office in Clyde, New York. So no help there. Anyway, I went to the Mighty Flame website to see if I could find where they have propane exchange locations in Texas. And I figured once I had that list, I could look through and find only the ones that were Texaco gas stations. And guys, there were only 5 Texacos on the list, so I figured I was going to find this really quickly. But none of them were right. At this point, I realized that the problem here was likely that when you have a convenience store attached to a gas station like this, sometimes the store itself will have a different name. So even though they sell Texaco fuel, it might be called Quick Stuff or some crap like that. So I was worried that this location was buried in this list of propane exchange locations, and I had no way of knowing which one it was. And there were hundreds of them. So I pivoted at that point and started trying to look for the auto shop that we see across the street. But guys, I had very little information. And most searches that you do for Complete Auto will just get you a bunch of Firestone locations, so that wasn't really helpful. So after about an hour of looking, I took a break from this one. And guys, I moved on to other videos and I almost forgot about it. But this week I was looking through some older videos that are on my work in progress list, and I saw this one and decided to give it another go. After some misguided attempts to try that same search to find that auto shop, I decided to look at the Mighty Flame propane locations again. I figured this place had to be in that list somewhere. So guys, I just went through them one by one, whether they were called Texaco stations or not. And I still didn't find it! I started wondering if this wasn't Texas at all. After all, just because the car has a Texas windshield sticker doesn't mean it's definitely in Texas. Cars do move. But just when I started to think that maybe I should look in other states, I noticed that we have this sticker on this pump here that looks like it's in the shape of Texas. I'm pretty sure that's one of these stickers, which I suspect is like a state-issued inspection sticker or something like that. But anyway, I was pretty convinced this was Texas. So guys, I was pretty invested at that point. I really wanted to find this place. And lucky for me, hyperfixation is kind of my superpower. So I brought up the Texaco website and I just started looking at like every gas station I could find in Texas. And honestly, their gas station locator is terrible for something like this. Because you can't just bring up a list of all the stations in the state. You just have to search for locations near a particular city and then see what you get. And if you don't find it, you gotta pick a different city. I did not have a good approach here. The best that I could say is I knew that the Texaco locations were mostly in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, and Austin areas. So I just started looking at gas stations. And I looked at many, many Texaco stations. But eventually I found one that had a place across the street called Tilden Car Care. And guys, that was it. You are at this Texaco station in White Settlement, Texas. Bruh, it's called White Settlement? Yeah, that's the name of this place. That's kind of sus. I'm sure there's some totally reasonable explanation for why it's named that.
Wikipedia says that this place was settled in the 1840s by some white colonists, and it was mostly Native American villages before that.
Oh. Maybe they should consider changing the name.
Well, it sounds like they considered it. They had a public vote in 2005 to change the name to West Settlement instead.
Oh, okay.
But it was soundly rejected by a margin of like 10-1.
Well then, moving on. I used Google Street View to confirm the location. I could see the front of that convenience store and the auto shop across the street. Here's that sign which says Tilden. And you were parked right over here in this spot next to where the SUV is parked in the street view. And by the way, this place is not listed on the Mighty Flame website as a propane exchange location. So thanks for nothing, Mighty Flame. Okay, it's time to check which previous location is closest to this one. And this time it was one of the 2 locations I found back in Season 1, Episode 75, in Fort Worth, Texas. That's about 12 miles or 19 kilometers away from this place. Guys, just a reminder, if you're watching me over here and you feel like you haven't seen a lot of my videos lately, you might want to consider watching me over here instead. Just saying. If anybody else wants me to find them, record a video where you say, "Find me, Jose Monkey," or something like that on camera, or hold up a sign that says something similar. And don't forget to tag me in a comment on that video.